Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I want to be talking about Chiron transiting the seventh house in a natal chart. Now, on average, Chiron will traverse a house for approximately 4 years. However, if your house size is a little bit larger than average, then Chiron will be in there for a little bit of a longer duration. If your house size is a little bit smaller than average, then Chiron will be in there for a little bit of a shorter period. Well, anyway, people, the first thing I look at when Chiron is transiting one's natal seventh house, well, this could be a period of some kind of suffering, maybe some despondency in connection with relationships. It could be a period where you might even be taking care of a debilitated significant other. You might be that person where you're trying to help out a lot of other people during this time, being their savior. It could be a thing where if you are married, maybe it's a period where you're having some struggles or some difficulty in the relationship, and you might be having some relationship issues, but at the same time, keep in mind that Chiron represents the wounded healer. You might be able to help reconcile situations with other people's marital woes and get and reconcile situations between for friends that are married and between them, reconcile issues between them and their significant others. So those are some things to look at with this transit. Also keep in mind that the seventh house also is connected with open enemies and open adversaries. This could be a period where maybe you're having some difficulty going through some situation with an open adversary. It could be a legal matter or otherwise. You might be able to be that advisor to somebody else on how to deal with these situations, but you might have difficulty yourself as far as dealing with them. This could be, you could be someone that's that quintessential advisor on relationships, somebody that could tell people what to say, when to say it, but you might be having trouble doing the same thing for yourself during this transit. Now, it could also be a period where perhaps if your parents are both still alive, maybe in some isolated cases, it could be a separation or divorce maybe they go through. And in this process, it might make you reluctant to pursue a significant other if you have the situation where you are unattached at that time. This is also a period where you look at the seventh house, and it's also about negotiations and compromise, and it could be a period where you might be having trouble negotiating something with someone. It could be over a contract issue. It could be over just about anything. It could be a price on something, trying to find a fair price on something that you want to buy, and maybe the other person, a friend or what have you, doesn't want to sell the price and you don't want to buy it at that price, as an example. This could be a period too where you can you might not, I mean, you may be taking care of someone that's a significant other or a marriage partner during this time. This could be also you look at this, and this could be about some kind of persistent problems resurfacing. Maybe something's happened that's giving you a reminder of some past difficulties in a relationship situation. The seventh house is also about partnerships. So if you're in a business partnership, maybe this is some period where you're having some difficulty with that partner, with that person that you may be connected with in this business situation or scenario. You might be able to tell somebody else, you might be very astute as far as giving someone else some kind of advice or being a mentor to somebody regarding business partnerships, but at the same time, you might be having trouble taking your own advice or applying this to yourself, and the situation in a business relationship could be contentious, and the same could apply in this transit with perhaps a significant other in some cases. And if you're having this transit right now at the time this video is made, Chiron, as many of you may know, is currently transiting the sign Pisces. So it could be some wounds or some suffering, emotional and suffering connected maybe with delusion or betrayal in some kind of relationship or partnership situation, dealing with some open enemy or adversary that's very deceptive. It could be deluding yourself in the wrong as far as a relationship or partnership situation, overlooking virtually all the transgressions of those people, for example. It could be some kind of a contract that's deceptive, that didn't really, it didn't have all the fine print that it was supposed to have in it before signing it. It didn't include everything that was supposed to be in it, or maybe it promised something that's not delivered in the contract, for example. Well, anyway, people, it's also important to look at the aspects, if any, that are made to your natal planets and points by this transit, as this could impact the transit. Now, let's say, for example, that transiting Chiron is making, let's say, a square in conjunct or opposition to your natal Mercury. Well, this could indicate perhaps some kind of emotional wounds or suffering connected. It might conflict with communications and perhaps your short journeys. And being in the 7th house, this could be tied in to a relationship situation, or perhaps even having to dealing with legal matters. Now, let's take another example. Let's say that transiting Chiron is making a conjunction to your natal Venus. Well, this could be some possible emotional wounds, some suffering connected with things of a monetary nature. And being in the 7th, this could be tied into relationships, even something with legalities, and which could be, for example, court costs for something, some payment that had to be made legally. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Chiron transiting the 7th house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about Chiron transiting the 8th house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.